Hi and hello everybody, it's Fern. Welcome back to another Plenty video. Thank you so much for joining me. So today we're going to be talking about downsizing and going through some of my plants that I have that are on the chopping block when it comes to downsizing. And I thought that I would do it in a bit of a fun and fresh way. So we're going to be going through each of these plants and we're going to be using a point system to decide whether I'm going to keep them or not. Not really, like it's just a game, it's just for funsy. I just thought it'd be fun to do points to see how these plants score on a scale of not liking them to, okay, maybe I should keep this plant, if that makes any sense. And I just thought that that would add a fun little twist to this video. But yeah, I'm really due for a big downsize or a big plant purge here because my collection has just grown so much this year, and even recently I've brought new plants into my collection. And the thing about plants, okay, well, I love collecting things. Like when it comes to hobbies that I'm interested in, I don't know, I'm a collector to my core. If I like something, I'm like, yes, please give me 200 of those right now. But plants are obviously a little different than a lot of other hobbies, and my collection cannot just infinitely expand, sadly. So I told myself earlier this year that when I brought new plants in, I would get rid of that same number of plants so that my amount of plants wasn't just constantly increasing, because that would just be way too unmanageable. I just brought some new plants in. I haven't gotten rid of any. There's definitely been some that I think like, I don't even know if I really want to have that plant anymore. And I think that that's fine. Like, I'm very pro downsizing. Get rid of any plants that don't bring you joy. They're just plants. It's not that serious. There's no shame in getting rid of them if it is just bringing you stress. I want to make that so abundantly clear, because this hobby, when it turns into something stressful, is just not fun anymore. It just leads to burnout, and I think that that's why a lot of people end up leaving this hobby. So we only want to be growing plants that we are obsessed with. And it is hard for me to get rid of mine, which is kind of what inspired this point system, because it is so difficult to part with plants. Like, I love all my plants, that's why they're in my collection. So I guess the points are just going to kind of guide a conversation about my feelings about each of these plants. And I think it'll be fun for you guys to comment and tell me what you think, if you think I should keep any plant, or, you know, what you're feeling as well. Okay, so point system for deciding to keep a plant. And again, this is not like it's just for fun, it's just a game. So even if a plant scored like 6 out of 6 points, which would be a positive score, that wouldn't necessarily mean like, oh, I'm gonna keep this now. That would just be like, oh, that's fun and interesting. Anyways, number 1, does it spark joy? So if it's a yes, then it gets a point. I honestly think that this is one of the most important ones, because even if it scored on everything else, if it doesn't spark joy, why would you keep it, you know? So number 2, is it fairly resistant to pests? Number 3, do I have a spot for it to go in? Which is another important one, because I have a lot of plants that are just like kind of cluttering the floor, and they don't really have a designated spot. Number 4, is it unique, or do I have something else similar in my collection? Number 5, is it easy care? And number 6, have I actually been taking good care of it? Because a lot of these plants end up getting pretty neglected, and that is a big signal to me to think, okay, maybe I don't love this plant as much as I maybe thought I did, since I'm not even taking good care of it, you know? So I hope that this sounds good to you. I hope that y'all are into this video idea and this kind of like twist on a downsizing video. So let's just start with my first plant that we're gonna talk about. Okay, so she is thirsty, excuse her. Like I said, a lot of these plants are a tad bit neglected, and that's why they're in this video. But this is my Syndapsis Silver Cloud, and I feel bad that she's so thirsty right now. She is cute. Like, this is why it's so hard. Like, I love all of these plants, and I'm, you know, part of me just really doesn't want to let them go. But then when I really think about it and I'm like, do I really love this plant? I just don't know if I feel that passion that I maybe once did for them. Okay, so number 1, does it spark joy? No, which, like I said, it is sad to say that, but it just doesn't really spark joy. And in fact, it kind of, when I see this, it lives on my Vitsto shelf, and when I see it there, I just kind of think like, does this add to the shelf or does it just make it look a little messy, a little like, yeah, just cluttered and messy with these crazy vines, and it's growing just like these small leaves at the end. Like, it doesn't really look that great. And I think that I would like, I'm not really a big Scindapsus person in general, but I think that I would like this a lot more if it was climbing, if it was on a moss pole or something, because I do think that Scindapsus look really nice like that. But I just don't have the capacity to put every single plant on a moss pole. Like, that takes more time for maintenance. I have to find a spot for it. This wouldn't be able to go in its spot anymore because it's not tall. It's not a tall enough space. And that just, I can't put every single plant on a moss pole. So sadly, as a trailing plant, I just don't know if this really does spark joy for me. So I did not give a point for that. Next one, is it fairly resistant to pests? Yes, it is. I don't think I've ever had a pest issue with this plant. Number 3, do I have a spot for it to go in? Yes, I do. It lives on the Vitcho shelf, like I said, but do I really love it there? I don't know. Oh my goodness, the sun is really, she's always just like messing with me when I'm filming. Is it unique? No. I originally gave this a point and then I was like, wait, I literally have Scindapsus exotica in the bedroom and that looks very, very similar to this plant. And if I were to choose between the two, I think I would keep the exotica, and I don't really know why. I don't know, the exotica is such a classic. I really love the big leaves. This one can get big leaves too. Yeah, I don't know. But no point for is it unique because I have almost the same plant in another plant. Is it easy care? Yes, it is. I mean, besides her getting thirsty, that's my fault because she's in terracotta, but she is like quite easy to grow, I would say. And have I been taking good care of it? No, I have not. As you can see, she's thirsty. I mean, I haven't been taking horrible care of it, but I do tend to let it get like very thirsty before I water it. And she will perk back up and uncurl her leaves, but she just shouldn't be getting to that point. And most of my plants that I really, really love, I would not let them get to that point, at least not on like a regular basis. So Scindapsus Silver Cloud got an overall score of 3 out of 6. Okay, the next plant that we're going to be talking about is my Hoya Rangsan. Now, I will say that I didn't even want a Hoya Rangsan when I purchased this. I got this a couple of years ago and I bought it as a Macrophylla or Latifolia Snow Queen, which is like just a bigger leaf, and that's really what I wanted, but mine looks like this, and y'all comment and say it's a Rangsan, and I think that it is. And I like this plant, I just don't, it's just not what I wanted, and I also just, I don't know, I'm not obsessed. I probably wouldn't have bought it if I knew that it wasn't a Snow Queen, if that makes any sense. So does it spark joy? No, I would say it doesn't. In fact, it kind of annoys me that it's not the plant that I thought I was getting, and it keeps getting mealybugs, so 0 points for that. Is it fairly resistant to pests? Again, 0 points. It keeps getting freaking mealybugs. I can see them on it right now, and it's been one of these Hoyas of mine that has been just prone to mealies over like the past year, and I'll get rid of them and then they'll come back, and that's a whole thing. Do I have a spot for it to go in? Yes, I do. It lives on the Vitcho shelf. Is it unique? No. I'm saying no just because I have so many Hoya. I have other Hoyas with this kind of splashing, and I mean, I don't have something that's like an exact dupe for this, but I have a lot of Hoya and a lot of Hoya that I like more than this one. Is it easy care? Oh, and also I don't think it has special blooms either, which if it did, I would probably be a lot more inclined to keep it. Is it easy care? I gave it a point for this, but now I'm like, is it easy care? Because it keeps getting mealybugs. Maybe I'm gonna change that to a half point because it's easy care apart from the fact that it just like keeps getting mealybugs. And then have I been taking good care of it? No, I have not. It's so dusty. I'm like, don't even want to show it too close to you. It's so dusty right now and it has mealies, so it's quite disturbing. Okay, so we have a total of 1.5. Ooh, that's not very good. I think she's gonna be meeting her maker pretty soon. Shoot, sorry girl. But yeah, this one, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a no from me. But the good news is I'll be able to use this cute pot for a different plant. Okay, let's do one of my bigger ones, just for fun. Now you might be thinking, Fern, why the heck is your Epipremnum pinnatum marble on the chopping block? Because this is a really pretty plant. I do love this plant, I do. I've had this for a couple of years now, and as you can see, it is not very big. However, it is very white, like the colors are just gorgeous, the variegation is stunning, very highly variegated plant, and I do think that this is just a really beautiful specimen of it. I'm literally like talking myself into keeping it right now. The main reason that I'm considering getting rid of this one is just because it is so slow growing. Like I said, it's only this tall after growing it for like 2 years or something. And I also, especially since I've put it on my shelf next to my Marble Queen, I just noticed like, they're not similar. They're obviously very different plants, but the coloring is similar. And I'm thinking, do I need both of them? Like if I'm really truly trying to downsize, do I need both of these plants in my collection? And if it came down to choosing between them, I would choose to keep the Marble Queen. So I don't know. Anyways, does it spark joy? I gave it a half a point for that because it does, but I'm also just like, are you ever gonna grow, girl? Like it grows so slow. So I like it, but I'm not obsessed. So half a point. Is it fairly resistant to pests? Yes. I don't think I've ever had a pest issue with this plant, which I really appreciate. Like I really do appreciate when my plants are like, don't get pests often. Do I have a spot for it to go in? Yes, I do. Like I said, it's been living on my kind of little moss pole shelf, wooden shelf in the dining room. Is it unique? No, it's not, because I have the Epipremnum Marble Queen, and then I also have Epipremnum pinnatum albo. So do I need all 3 of them? I don't know. I think that I might have a better time, like if I got rid of this and instead I put Epipremnum pinnatum albo on a moss pole and had like grew that one out to more mature leaf size, I think that that would bring me more joy than this one, just because I know the albo would grow faster than the marble. It's just because the marble is so highly variegated, I think, which is like a double-edged sword because that's what makes it so pretty, but that's also kind of her downfall. So I don't know. If y'all have one of these, let me know what your experience has been growing it. Is it easy care? I gave it half a point. Why did I give it half a point? It is easy care. Oh, I think I gave it half a point just because it's on a moss pole. I feel like my plants on moss poles just automatically are a little bit more maintenance than some of my other plants that aren't on moss poles, because you have to like keep the pole watered and extend it and everything. So half a point. Have I been taking good care of it? I gave a point for this because honestly, I feel like I have been. Like I've been extending the pole. I try to keep on top of keeping the pole watered, keeping the plant watered. And I recently moved it out of the cabinet and in front of my Sansi light, and it seems to be liking that. So like, I feel like I have been putting pretty good effort into caring for this one. So that brings us to a grand total of 4 out of 6 points, which is a pretty high score. So yeah, we'll see. I haven't made up my mind 100% about a lot of these, so that's why I'm telling y'all to comment down below and let me know what you think. Okay, next, back to my problematic Hoyas in my collection. This is my Hoya mini Pixie, and if you've been watching my channel for the last little while, you may know that this was one of my the central hubs for the mealybugs on my Vitsto shelf, and I will say it's better than it was, but I do still have some mealy issues with it, so that just kind of makes me consider getting rid of it, because I'm like, is it worth it, like battling with this Hoya? It's this one and another one, which honestly I think I've just decided I'm either going to take a cutting of that other one or just get rid of it entirely. Just because these plants that are really just prone to pests, I'm just like, I don't know, like, yeah, maybe a cutting and starting over is the route to go for these ones, because I do really like this plant. I think it's so cute. I love the small leaves, and I especially love the tiny blooms it has. I don't have any Hoyas that give me these just like super dainty, delicate. I'm trying to find if I thought there was like a cluster somewhere, but it doesn't look like any of them are open. These ones aren't open yet, but you can see just like how tiny they are. So yeah, she's so cute. I love her. I love the name Mini Pixie. Like, I really want this plant to be thriving in my collection. It just can't seem to like kick this mealy. I can see a mealy right here. I don't know why some of these Hoyas are just so much harder than others to get rid of mealies. So that's like my main issue with this plant. Okay, so let's go through her score. Does it spark joy? Yes. I genuinely love this Hoya. Like I said, I love the little blooms. It's just like such a fairy-like plant, and I love just like dainty little whimsical plants. So yes, she does really truly spark joy for me. Next one, is it fairly resistant to pests? 0. Do I have a spot for it to go in? Yes, she lives on the Vitcho shelf. Is it unique? I gave her half a point because, like I said, I have a million Hoya, but this one I do think is different, just like the tiny little blooms, and also it blooms all the time. Like, she's always blooming and growing, like very fast grower, very prolific bloomer. Yeah, I think I'm talking myself into keeping this one. Maybe I will, or at least taking cuttings and starting over, but I kind of love the size of her. Is it easy care? I gave it a point. I don't know. I think it's easy care. It's just the freaking pests. So maybe it should go down to a half point if we're being honest. Let's do a half point. Have I been taking good care of it? I gave a 0, and I don't even know why. I think like I am a little bit neglectful of this plant, but it's mostly just because I'm frustrated with it. So I'm gonna give a half point. So that brings us to a total of 3.5 out of 6 for Hoya Mini Pixie. She's so cutie. We need to get rid of those mealies. Okay, speaking of cute little whimsical fairy plants, the next one on my list is my variegated vanilla orchid. It honestly pains me to be showing this in this video. Like, what the heck? But I have to be honest with myself, and I just have not been caring for this well. Like, over the past year and a half, probably, I used to have this on a cute little moss plank, and then I outgrew it and I took it off, and then I had it on a coco coir pole, I think, and then I outgrew that. And I think that my main problem with this plant is just that I don't know how I want to grow it. Like, I have these thoughts of, oh, maybe I'll do something creative, like have it growing up the, like, outside of the Vitcho shelf, or growing around, like, you know, styling it in a more decorative way, but then I just never do. And I'm like, why do I just keep neglecting essentially this plant and not deciding what I want to do with it? It's been in this sphagnum moss for like probably over a year now, maybe even longer than that. And yeah, I have to ask myself, like, why am I not prioritizing this plant, you know? But she is so cute. Like, I really do love this one. Like I said, she just has like fairy vibes, and yeah, it's so pretty. Like, it really is. I think this is another one I'm talking myself into keeping here. Man, yeah, when you look at the leaves, like, it's an incredible plant. It's an incredible plant. So I guess I just need to come up with a plan of how I'm gonna grow this, how I'm gonna style it. So if anyone has any ideas, let me know. If you have one, let me know how you grow yours. Do you let it trail? Do you have it like going along something? How do you have it styled? So let's score her. Does it spark joy? I mean, I put 0.5, but now that I'm looking at her, I mean, I guess this is the thing, because if I was just looking at this from afar, I'd be like, whatever. But now that I'm actually like holding her and interacting with her, I'm like, I love her. So I don't know, I guess I'll leave it at 0.5. The heck is that? I'll leave it at 0.5, even though it's kind of like a full point. Is it fairly resistant to pests? Yes. Do I have a spot for it to go in? No. That's my main issue. Is it unique? Yes. I don't have anything like this in my collection. Is it easy care? Yes. Very, very easy care. Very tolerant to neglect. And have I been taking good care of it? No. I mean, she's doing fine. Like, she's great. You would never know. But like I said, it's just been neglectful in the sense of like she's still in sphagnum, and why have I not found a situation for her? So overall, she scored a 3.5 out of 6. I would say that that's maybe a 4 if I bumped up the Spark Joy one to a full point. So that's not a bad score at all. And yeah, I think I need to just figure out how I'm gonna be growing this plant, because what the heck, I don't want to get rid of her. Okay, next we have another Hoya. Now I have a lot of Hoya, you guys. I have more Hoya than any other genus, so that's why there's like quite a few Hoya. I mean, I think this is the last. No, I have one more after this. Okay, so Hoya obovata, inner variegated. If you've been watching my channel, this probably comes as no surprise because I have been deliberating on my Hoya obovatas for months now. I've tried to give them their own like cute trellises and everything now because I've really just been trying to put some effort into caring for them and getting them growing nicely. So this is the inner variegated one, which is really pretty. But I mean, it's growing better than it was because for a while it was just looking awful, but now it's growing better than it was. It's giving me some variegation, not the best, but I don't know. She's looking kind of cute. Like she's looking cuter than she has been over like the last couple of years, I would say. This is the best it's looking since I got it. But I just struggle with Hoya obovata in general, and I also just don't really like the way that they grow with these really thick, rigid vines. Like they're hard to style, they're hard to find space for, and they always give funky leaves, which I don't know, I kind of hate that. So I don't know if Hoya obovata is for me, but then when I see them in other people's collections, absolutely obsessed. So it sucks that I just have not had a great time growing them. Okay, so scoring this one, does it spark joy? I gave 0.5 because seeing the new leaves and that it's been growing a little bit better for me definitely does make me happy to look at this. And I love the colors, I love the splashing and the variegation, and like I do think that it's a really pretty plant. And especially when I see photos of other people's, I know this isn't about other people's, this is about mine, but like I love Hoya obovata in general. So I gave it a half point for spark joy. We've been on a journey, but I do still like this one. Is it fairly resistant to pests? No, this gets mealybugs, this gets spider mites, like pretty much anything this would get. Like aphids, I'm sure, would love going for any new leaf on this thing. Do I have a spot for it to go in? No, this is sitting on the floor in front of our patio door, so definitely not. Is it unique? I gave it a half point because I do have the regular obovata as well, so I do have one other, and yeah, it's a Hoya and I have lots of Hoya, so I don't know. Half point because I do think that this obovata itself with the inner variegation is unique, so. Is it easy care? No. Like I said, I struggle with Hoya obovata a lot, and have I been taking good care of it? I gave myself a half point because I'm definitely not taking perfect care of it. Like it probably needs an up pot, it probably needs, you know, a good pest spray down, but I have, you know, put the effort in to put this on a nice new trellis, try to find a spot for it where it's getting decent light, so half point. So that brings us to a total of, oh my gosh, only 1.5 out of 6 for Hoya obovata. I only gave zeros or half points for this one, so yikes. She's skating on thin ice for sure. Okay, so next is my Salis paradoxa. Now, this is a plant that I used to absolutely love, and I don't know why I just don't have that same excitement as I once did for it, and mine just like, I don't know, she's not looking her best, probably due to neglect. Yeah, I used to be really excited about this plant and really just love it, but it hasn't been repotted for years, and I don't know, I don't ever really look at it and think like, oh, I love that plant so much, or it's looking so good lately, or I don't know, I just don't get super excited about it anymore, so I figured I would score it on here just for fun, even though I'll probably keep it because, I don't know, I just do really love it. I guess I just want to find my inspiration to love it again, but let's rank it. So does it spark joy? I gave a half point because it kind of does, but I've also kind of lost my joy for it, like I said. Is it fairly resistant to pests? Yes. I don't think I've ever really had a pest issue with this one. Do I have a spot for it to go in? Yes. Since it's a trailing plant and it's not very big, it's very easy to just pop on my Vits Joe shelf or pop in, you know, it could go in a lot of places. Is it unique? I gave it a half point because I do have the Salis paradoxa minor, which is really similar to this one. It's just a thinner, whatever you call this thing, vine. Is it easy care? Yes, it is. It's basically like a succulent. Well, it's like a jungle cactus, so it's pretty drought tolerant and easygoing, I would say. And have I been taking good care of it? I don't know why I gave myself a half point because I don't think I have been. Like I said, it could use a repot, and it's just not looking good. Like, why are some of these leaves looking so janky? Like, I don't know if you can see, but it just looks janky. So I'm not gonna give myself any point for the care because she could probably use a lot of TLC. So that brings us to a total of 4 out of 6, which honestly, not bad. Like I said, I'll probably end up keeping that one. All right, so the next one we're gonna talk about is my Monstera Indonesian mint. I'm surprised I didn't get rid of this plant earlier in the year because I had such a hard time growing this thing. Like, it truly just wouldn't grow for so long. This was an import that I got almost exactly a year ago, actually. I think I got it in December of last year. And yeah, it just had a really rough start. It also came to me with mealybugs, which I honestly think may be like what really started my whole mealybug issue. Like, I've just never seen mealybugs that are like this big and juicy, and I'm pretty sure that started from this plant. So anyway, I really love this plant. Obviously, that's why I got it. I love Monstera Adansonii in general. I think that they're so beautiful. I especially love having them climb because the leaves can get really big, and I really struggled with the like Albo Adansonii, like the white like sectoral variegated one, which is why I wanted to get the Indonesian mint, because I thought maybe I would have a better time and like wouldn't have problems with the reversion and everything. And I have had a better time now that it's actually started growing. But again, I just don't really feel that excited, and I'm like, do I need this? Because I have the regular green Adansonii, and I also have the Esqueleto, and I'm like, is there really like a void that this is filling? I don't think it is. So considering getting rid of this one, let's rank it. Does it spark joy? I gave it a half point because it does, but I also like, I'm not obsessed, you know? Is it fairly resistant to pests? I gave it a 0. Like I said, this has had mealybugs. This has also had spider mites. So definitely not resistant. I wouldn't call it fairly resistant to pests. Do I have a spot for it to go in? No. This is another one that is just sitting on the floor. Is it unique? No. Like I said, I have the Esqueleto, have the green Adansonii. Is it easy care? I gave it a 0.5 because I feel like now it is fairly easy care. I mean, it's on a moss pole, so that's obviously more work, but it had such a rough start, and I definitely would have said it wasn't easy care if you asked me like 6 months ago, but now that it's really started growing, I feel like it is. And have I been taking good care of it? I said yes, because I have been, you know, keeping this sprayed down to try to prevent any pests. I have been keeping the moss pole watered. We extended the moss pole, and it's doing pretty well. It has a new leaf that's trying to come in up here, and yeah, like in general, it's doing okay. So that brings us to a total score of 2 out of 6 for this one, which is not very good. So again, let me know what you think. Should I keep this one? Okay, my battery died, but I feel like the Indonesian mint is another one of these plants that I see photos of, and I see it in other people's collections, and I really love it. So it makes me want to have like a nice one like that. But then when I look at mine, I'm like, does this really do it for me? I don't know. So yeah, not sure what I'm gonna do with that one at this point. Okay, next we have an Antherium, and if you watch my Antherium collection, this will not be surprising because I said in that video this is one that I'm just like not obsessed with, and it is my Antherium Fort Sherman, or Velvet Mask Fort Sherman hybrid from Cartel Down. And yeah, this is probably my least favorite plant that I've got from Cartel Down. I just don't like how the leaves always come out kind of like wavy and wonky, and yeah, I don't know. I don't like that. I guess I like more of like a crisp looking Antherium. I don't even know if that makes any sense, but yeah, I just don't really like this one. And I have so many Antherium that I do love now that I'm like, why am I keeping the ones that I'm not obsessed with, you know? As you can see, we have a new leaf, but that one is also looking very crazy. It also has like a tear in it, and yeah, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Let's rank it. Does it spark joy? No. Is it fairly resistant to pests? Yes, I would say it is. Like, I don't really have any pest issues with this plant. Do I have a spot for it to go in? No. It's on the floor here behind me, so it does not have a designated spot. Is it unique? No. I have lots of Antherium that I prefer more than this one. That, like, this doesn't have anything that makes it stand out in my collection. Is it easy care? I said yes. Like, I feel like it is fairly a fairly easygoing, like straightforward Antherium, but again, it just grows weird. So maybe that is a care thing, I don't know. And have I been taking good care of it? I gave it a 0.5 because I have been trying to take good care of it, but it's just not looking amazing. So maybe it needs something else that it's not getting. And that brings us to a total score of 2.5 out of 6. I'm gonna try to speed through the last one here because my MacBook is gonna power down. It has no battery. Okay, last one is Hoya sigillatus. This is a Hoya that I've had for a very long time now, like since 2020, I think, which is kind of crazy. And I think that that's part of the reason that I want to hang on to it, because it's like, it's kind of sentimental to me. And it also is really different than a lot of my other Hoyas in my collection. And it is just a Hoya, and I love Hoyas, and I don't really have any issues with it. It just grows really slowly. There is a weird rotted leaf on the top, but the rest of the plant is healthy. Yeah, it just, I don't know. I guess it doesn't really do anything. I guess I don't know if I really love it, but I also don't hate it. She just kind of hangs out, and she grows so slowly. If she grew a little bit faster, or if she bloomed or just like did something, then maybe she would have my attention more often. But for now, she just like kind of blends into the backdrop, I feel. So yeah, I'm really undecided about this one because, like I said, I don't have any Hoya that are like this. I love the like color and pattern on the leaves. It's really pretty. Again, am I talking myself into keeping this? I don't know. Let's score it. Does it spark joy? I put 0, but this is another one of these situations where now that I'm holding it, I'm like, I do kind of love her. So I don't know. I'm just gonna put 0 because, like I said, most of the time I don't really notice this plant. It just hangs out in the backdrop. Is it fairly resistant to pests? Yes, I never have a pest issue with this. Do I have a spot for it to go in? Yes, it lives in my Millsbow wide. Is it unique? Yes, this is different than any Hoya that I have. Is it easy care? Yes. This is very minimal, easy care. Have I been taking good care of it? 0.5. I haven't been doing anything special for it, but I have been, you know, keeping it watered and everything. So I feel like that's decent care. So that brings us to 4.5 out of 6, which is that the highest score out of any of them? It might be. Yeah, I think it is. Wow. Maybe I will have to reconsider. Else, if it doesn't spark joy, why would you keep it? Why would you keep it? Yeah, I don't know. Still thinking on this one. Still thinking on this one. I do also really like the Hoya sigillatus, the like Alice River one, or like the chunkier one. But maybe I should just put more effort into growing this one. Maybe I should take some propagations to fill this out a little bit so that I can have a little bit more of a lush plant. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I decide. I do really like the combination of the dark purple leaves with the yellow pot. That's so cute. Anyways, she's like, why are you doing me dirty like this? I'm sorry. All right, so we went through all 10 of these plants. I think that that was really fun. So let me know what y'all think about doing this type of video. I will put my little point system in the description box if you also want to kind of think about these things when you're downsizing or going through your own collection. But yeah, other than that, I'm looking forward to seeing your comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
I couldn't even if I tried.